If you would have told me like 3 or 4 years ago that hundreds of thousands of people would have seen my face and that when I'm running through an airport, I'd get yelled at and people would know who I am, that's bonkers. That really is crazy to me. Now, what's interesting is one of the companies in which I have been tied to, and lots of people have connected me and my face and my reputation to their brand, is Stringjoy guitar strings. You've probably seen these. Now, these are Stringjoy guitar strings. I really like these strings, and I've made a couple videos about them. I'm friends with Andy, I'm friends with Scott, and I really like their guitar strings. So in this video, I want to do 2 things. Number 1, I just want to explain my actual experience with Stringjoy guitar strings. Do I like them, or am I just a corporate shill that gets paid to sell guitar strings? Because chances are you have seen my mug talking about their guitar strings, because they've now spent lots of money putting that video out all over. And so, you know, a couple weeks ago when I was flying through the airport, I got yelled at, "Hey, you're the Stringjoy guy," which is funny because Scott is the Stringjoy guy and I am the Guitar Hunter guy. But we definitely have been pulling in the same direction around music and friendship, craftsmanship, making great strings. And then the second part of this is, what's my actual relationship with Stringjoy? Am I just a shill? Am I just paid to talk up their guitar strings? Do I get paid when I sell guitar strings for them? So anyway, let's dig into both parts of those. Before we dig in, make sure you're subscribed. I'm Jeremy, I'm the Guitar Hunter. I teach people how to find the right guitars for them. I teach people how to sell guitars that aren't right for you, and I will teach you how to build a meaningful guitar collection. A guitar collection that you're proud of, that is representative of you, that long after you die and your kids and your grandkids have your guitars, they'll know who you were and what you valued by the decisions and the guitars that you owned along the way. Subscribe, that's what the channel's about. I also have a course that's all about that called Write Guitars Faster. I'll put an icon right there. I'll talk about Write Guitars Faster. Link in the description down below. It's an amazing course. Check it out. Anyway, back to Stringjoy guitar strings. So Stringjoy, they started in what, 2014, I believe. And so I remember I used to go to shows in Nashville at the basement, and above them you'd see a sign for Stringjoy guitar strings. And so from the beginning, I've been curious about who these guys are, what they're doing, and are they actually making really good guitar strings. And so Stringjoy hand makes their own guitar strings. I mean, every single string they are making themselves in Nashville. Really hard work, dedication, commitment, amazing technology. I mean, it's all led by Scott, who is just a wizard of techie, specky things, and he does a really good job.
Good to see you.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well. Yeah, you'll see me hacking away over here.
Good.
You're in good hands with Mr. Andy.
Awesome.
Years ago, they sent me a couple sets of guitar strings to just try out. They've never paid me. They have never paid me a single dollar to promote their brand. They have sent me free guitar strings throughout the course of our relationship. During that time, I said, hey, I will make a review for you, and then you can use that however you see fit. That has then spun out into, I mean, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views on their ads. I see my face, and I get texted pictures of guitar playing friends all around the world saying, hey, look at your face, I see you talking about guitar strings. And so anyway, a couple years ago they sent me guitar strings. I did a basic video, and so the follow-up to that, which I never have actually done, I've talked about this on my live show, and I've talked a lot about guitar strings that I really like. Stringjoy are always in that top 2 or 3 of the guitar strings that I choose. Generally speaking, there are 4 kind of versions of the guitar strings from Stringjoy that I think are worth talking about. There are the regular Stringjoy strings. These are, what do they call these? Just their signatures, and then they have the Broadways. Now for me, the Broadways are amazingly cool and also complicated, not for the faint of heart. The Broadways are, if you were thinking of the world of reissues, this is a reissued guitar string. This is how they would have made guitar strings in, what, the 1940s, 1950s? But this is basically all of our guitar heroes playing with inferior technology. They had these. So these are round core strings. And so the problem with round core strings is when they intersect with vintage style Fender tuners, where you have to cut the string, bend it over, put it down in the center pole of the tuner, and then bend it over. Because a round core does not have any facets of a hex core inside to fasten to, what can happen with these is that you cut these without paying attention, you just cut them, and the winding will then separate from the round core, and then it will cause a dead string. So if you get a string that is thumpy, buzzy, atonal, just doesn't sound right. So anyway, with these, They're very cool, but you have to know what you're doing. You have to put a crimp in the string before you cut the end and put it into the... it's the main intersection. The problem with these is the intersection of vintage style tuners and these vintage style guitar strings. So anyway, these are very cool. Not for the faint of heart, not for vintage tuners unless you know how to put a crimp. There's a great video from Stringjoy on there, but these are cool. They feel like you're kind of going back in time and you get to just see how guitar strings used to be. Now the other ones are the signatures. Now these are bangers. These are hex core modern style guitar strings, hand wound. They're wound at the same tension that normal guitar strings would be played. So there's something about these that just is reliable and is just a good string. Now I would say let's just get the cat out of the bag right away. For me, these strings, they're a little better than Ernie Ball or D'Addario, but they're like twice or three times the price. And so for me, these are the ones that I'm like, okay, well, I can't, like, these have to be a treat. They can't be my daily driver. For me, if I'm gonna spend 3 times the price, they have to be magnificent, wonderful, and they're good. They're almost great, but I just can't quite justify spending so much more every single time. So these would be a treat. They wouldn't be my like rice and beans everyday kind of guitar strings. There are a couple others that I want to talk about. Now both of these, they're in both red boxes, so don't let them distract you. Number one is if you need custom sets of guitar strings. I have 2 instruments that demand custom sets of strings. Number one is my Guild baritone. And so this is an 8-string baritone, and so it's complicated for a bunch of reasons. Number one, it's a 17 to 70 for the strings, and so it's hard to find baritone strings anyway. It's hard to find them coated, which these aren't coated, but I can hope, I can dream one day I'll get coated strings for these. Now also, in addition to the 17 to 70 strings on the baritone, I need a 12 and a 14 plain so that I can have these octaves for the A and the D on this. So anyway, one of the ways in which I find Stringjoy to be so compelling is that they're able to make custom sets of strings. So with this, here's a 17 to 70, and there's an extra 12 and an extra 14. The other instrument I have is my Pano octave mandolin, which I just need custom sets of strings because an octave mandolin is not a common instrument, and there are octave mandolin strings made from D'Addario and other brands, but they don't have ball ends. So I need ball ends because of the bridge on that guitar, or that octave mandolin. And so anyway, custom sets of strings are the other part that I just think this is an unfair advantage. Now these are still kind of pricey. Like usually these are like 20 bucks or so. But on that instrument, it's like, what's my other option? And I get exactly what I want. I always go with the phosphor bronze. And so these are awesome and these are pretty helpful. Now the last one, and my absolute favorite guitar strings that I think are absolutely worth it and I would buy every time and I want to be my daily driver, Stringjoy doesn't sell yet, technically, and that is these. These are the coated acoustics. They call these these are the String Lab. I don't know what they're going to call these eventually, but these are their coated acoustic strings. They are absolutely wonderful. If you're a fingerstyle guitar player, if you have sweaty hands, if you like coated strings, if you like the Martin Lifespan, if you like the D'Addario XP or now the EXP or now the XS, if you like the Elixir Nano Web Phosphor Bronze, these are better in every way. They last longer, they're more gracious, they have more bass, they have more low end. They're wonderful. I mean, like, they sent me a set of these strings about a year ago when they said, hey, we're thinking about doing coated strings, and these are quantitatively, undeniably just better than all of the other options. I've been playing coated acoustic strings since 2004, 2005. I started playing Elixirs, and that's when I really started getting into coated strings because they just last longer. But there's so many trade-offs with most coated strings, and this is the first string that genuinely feels like I don't have to compromise, and so they just sound better. So I'll put in a sample here. This is my Paget Model 1. And so I'll do, here's a sound sample of the guitar with just John Pierce regular middle of the road phosphor bronze strings. So here's that guitar in Dadgad. being restrung with the Stringjoy, actually these, after I filmed this, I'm going to put these strings on that guitar, and so here you go. This is the Patch Up Model 1, same tuning, same everything with the Stringjoy coated strings. How insane is this timing? Literally while I'm doing this, they just announced the Stringjoy Foxwoods. They're in an orange box. They're cool. They look great. And most excitingly, if you click through here and you look at, let's go to the pricing. How much are they going to be? Are they going to be super expensive? Look at that, $17.90. That is genuinely awesome. That's like Elixir NanoWeb territory. That's the perfect price for these. The D'Addario XS are $17.99. So these are, what, 9 cents cheaper, but they're definitely better. This is a freaking home run. Value to money, to quality, to production. I mean, this is awesome. So anyway, crazy timing of Stringjoy's promise to guitar players. This is number one it. This is the best. And I understand there's probably more electric guitar players than there are acoustic guitar players. But as someone who has been just struggling through just the pain in the neck that has been coated acoustic guitar strings over the last 20 years, it's exciting when you see like a generation change in the technology. So with these, they feel like regular strings, they sound like regular strings, but they just seem to kind of last for a couple months instead of just a couple weeks. So anyway, these are, to me, I have a hunch. I don't know the actual price on these. I'm gonna bet these are gonna be in the 20 couple bucks range. So you're still gonna be paying more than you would pay for the other strings. But, I mean, look at D'Addario, the D'Addario XS. They've done away with the EXP, so no longer, gone are the days of a $30 3-pack where you could get them for $10 for a set of coated EXPs. I think those days are gone. They are kind of cannibalizing that line to push you into the XS. Maybe the coating or something is different on those, but the cheapest I've seen those strings are like $17.99 for a set, and so that's just, it's too much money for me. And then those strings also, they really lack a lot of bass and low end. So anyway, it seems like the best option is here, just not quite yet. What is my relationship with Stringjoy? They've never paid me $1 for anything. They've sent me some strings for free here and there. Most recently, they sent me 10 sets of the coated acoustics, and they sent me 10 sets of the the signatures. Now, in addition to those, they've also sent me, I think, 2 sets of octomandolin strings and 2 sets of baritone 8 strings. But they've never paid me. They use my likeness in some videos, but we worked out a deal on that. So I don't get paid. I just get strings every now and then when I say, hey, I need some guitar strings. And this is definitely the most clear I've ever just explained. Like, I think some are totally worth it. Like, these are absolutely bonkers, so good. And these are okay. Like, they're fine. But I still, for myself, I still kind of stick with Ernie Ball just because I've done it forever. I love the branding. I love the feel of those. And I love the color-coded. Those are D'Addario. So Ernie Ball is plain. But yeah, I go back and forth between D'Addario and Ernie Ball for my electric guitars. But bonkers. Bonkers good. So anyway, thanks for watching this video. I'm Jeremy. I am the Guitar Hunter. Make sure you're subscribed. Check out Stringjoy. I'll have links in the description down below. Good dudes. That's my favorite part. Just great dudes. Super fun. And just, they're working really hard to make the world a better and more musical place. And that's what we need. So anyway, thanks. See you later. Bye.